Hey North fans, time for some joy in your life. It's been few and far between this century. I'm with Marnie from Kangas TV. We're going to discuss the 5 best wins that North have had in home and away games. That's the rule of these videos, no finals. I mean, you had a great semi-final win against Sydney, I think in 2015. That's the last big finals win I remember you folks having. We're just doing the men's here. Obviously, you've had some brilliant wins in the women's with Emma Carney and everyone. You run Kangas TV now, brilliant channel. How long have you been going?
So I started the channel in October 2024, so not that long ago, but I have been doing bits and pieces of North Melbourne content and media for over a decade. I started my first blog, The North Melbourne Opinion, back in 2011, before blogging was cool.
Did blogging become cool? Oh, wow.
I guess I'm just going to go with that narrative in my head.
I like it.
And I was an aspiring journalist at the time, and I loved footy in North Melbourne, obviously, so I decided to start a blog. And while I moved away from that particular blog, I did other bits and pieces. I wrote columns for other websites. I jumped on North Melbourne podcasts and doing some short form content. And then at the end of last year, I decided to bring it back to my real love and passion, which is telling the stories of North Melbourne, be it the people, be it the week to week, be it the bits and pieces in between.
Be it the great comedy club on Errol Street, Comics Lounge.
Where you can see this man.
Probably, very likely.
Yeah. And that's what's led me here. And it's been a crazy whirlwind so far, but I'm loving every single one.
I'm glad because North Melbourne have had such a rubbish century since, the rubbish millennium so far. Yeah, sorry about that. But I just love that you're turning that into something positive. And when North become good, because you've got so many good young players, North fans, the rest of the league, we are aware that you're coming.
We're coming.
We've got to enjoy you being beatable while it lasts. And I think it's great that you've turned that into something positive. So let's go. What is number 5?
Before we get there, an honourable mention, because I can't forget this game. So the honourable mention that I had to put in was the win against the Gold Coast Suns last season in 2024. It was on my 30th birthday.
Okay.
And I had 30 of my closest family and friends all come to the game with me.
Oh, that's nice.
And we had a massive party at the footy, and then to end the game with a win and on such a high like it was. The game was a little bit scrappy, and there's definitely some better wins for what they are in terms of wins out there that we'll touch base on. But I had to just give that an honourable mention because it was the best birthday ever. Is
there a little bit of joy with when you beat the Suns because the AFL wanted you to beat the Suns? Yeah,
and they've kind of turned into a bit of a bogey side for us. Okay. So even when they hadn't been going so well, which is basically since the start of their existence, they have been able to beat us away from Melbourne, so they do definitely have the better of us over in Queensland. They also do in Darwin, and Cairns we played them once, and wherever. So it's actually been quite even between us. In Melbourne, we usually get the better of them, and then away from Melbourne, they usually get the better of us. Even in the past few seasons, we've been better, and they haven't been, and whatever. So to be able to get them on home turf. And they had a fairly good season in 2024. They were winning a lot of games at home, big scalps at home. But to catch them on my birthday with all my loved ones there, had to give that. We don't get many wins at North, so I'm going to sneak an honourable mention in there while I can.
That's number 6. What's number 5?
Number 5 was the first win that I ever saw, which was the last game for 2003. I think it was round 22. We played Carlton and we beat them by 124 points.
Wow.
So the last game 3 weeks earlier, I went to the Fremantle game at Heritage Round, which, spoiler alert, is the first time I cried at the footy, and that will be touched on in a later video.
Yes.
And my dad said to me at the end of that game, promise the next game you come to, they'll win, and if they don't, you never have to come with me to the footy ever again. So big call from my dad.
Yep.
What I didn't know is that Carlton were as bad as North have been now. And North were travelling not too bad. I think we finished about 10th or something that year. So he took me along. We ended up just absolutely embarrassing them. And it was the first North game I ever saw win. And I was hooked from that moment on.
You joined in the chorus.
I absolutely did.
Number 4.
I have gone for the King's Birthday Eve game against Richmond. It was round 12, 2014. And
So it was still a Queen back then.
Oh yeah, Queen's birthday. And the reason why I put this game in is because it set the tone for a lot of the way games played out for North Melbourne in 2014. So a lot of people think about the elimination final against Essendon. We were 6 goals down early in the third.
Okay.
We ended up just steamrolling them in the second half and won the game. But the first sign of that for North that year was against Richmond. It was round 12. It was a Sunday night. The Queen's birthday was the next day, and we were, I think it was 6 goals down at half time. Richmond were all over us, and we came out in the third quarter, and within 15 minutes we were back in front, and we just absolutely obliterated them. And it was the first time for about 4 or 5 times for the rest of that year that we played games that way, and we could just blitz teams in a really small window of time. Robbie Nahas kicked the goal to put us back in front as well. He was playing at North then, and he used to play for Richmond, so that was really sweet. So yeah, I think that was a really special game and a real showcase of dominance, and that's sort of how we started to flex our muscles as the season went on, and then obviously led into that final that everyone still talks about to this day, because it's our grand final for people my age. That's a North Melbourne grand final. So yeah, I had to definitely make mention of that.
You did just spark some memories of North really just having these spurts of just bang.
Yeah, it's like sheer brilliance and dominance.
But not able to maintain it for whole games because you would have been what you needed was some peptides.
Yeah, and we just but then we were just the way we did it. Like, it was 15 minutes. It's all we needed.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. So.
So not only did you win, you won efficiently.
We did. I mean, it was like winning that game, I think, by about 6 goals.
Oh yes.
So it was a real quick turnaround, and it was just a bit of an onslaught in the second half.
And of course, Queen Elizabeth was a massive North Melbourne fan. Happy birthday, Lizzie.
Who wouldn't be?
God rest your soul. Yeah. Lizzie's in the box, whatever. Gonna get in trouble from the monarchists now.
No.
Oh well.
Nice. That's a...
Number 3.
Number 3 is a bit of a quirky one, and probably just one that sticks in my memory specifically, was against Fremantle in 2015, round 21, I believe.
Okay, you guys were very good in 2015.
We were really good. We were even ledger.
But so were Freo.
So we were even ledger up until the bye, and then we won, I think it was 10 of our last 12 games to play finals in 2015. Fremantle were on top of the ladder, and they came down to Melbourne. We played them under the roof, and we had to win that game to secure our spot in finals.
Okay.
And I think we were at 4 goals down or something at quarter time, and then we chipped away at the margin at half time, and then it was a goal the difference at 3/4 time. And Boomer put on a bit of a masterclass in that fourth quarter, and he ended up really being the one to drive the eventual win. But what I remember about that game specifically, and they say Marvel has no atmosphere.
Who says that? They're idiots.
Whoever
Best
doesn't go
stadium
there
in the land.
We love the Marvel tenants, really do shine through in this video.
Well, yeah, MCG wankers. They're all like, well, we got the history. Yeah, you do have the grand finals there.
But we have the heat of Marvel.
We have the heat, and we can see what's going on.
Yes, and if you get 2 really genuinely good teams playing a genuinely good game of footy, you get atmosphere, which is exactly what this game had. It's the loudest crowd I've ever heard at Marvel, at a North game specifically. There was, I think, about 20-odd thousand there. It sounded like there was 60,000. Wow. The roar was so loud you couldn't hear the final siren.
Oh, that's
like, it was huge. It was just a massive win in terms of the context of our season, and just in isolation, the performance and the way the crowd got behind North as we started to grow into the game was quite amazing. It's something I'll never forget, and I could not leave it out of this list.
What was the final margin, roughly?
Oh, I think we won by 11 points.
Yeah, good. That's close enough for it to be.
Close enough. Yeah, it was great. It was so good. Yeah, that is definitely my number 3.
The second best win that the North Melbourne Football Club have had this century in home and away games, with Marnie Cohen from Kangas TV.
The King of Marvel.
Bontempelli?
No, Cam Zerha. We played Richmond in 2022. Bontempelli.
Sorry, everyone. I keep hijacking this with Bulldogs talk.
The King of Marvel, Cam Zerha, won us the game against Richmond off his own boot the week prior, or that week leading into that game. David Noble was sacked to be replaced by
the dead coach bounce.
Yeah, which we've had a few of those in the last few seasons. Yeah. And We had only won one game for the year so far. It was against West Coast earlier that year, with West Coast basically fielded a waffle side.
Yeah, I played in that game for West Coast.
Wow. Yeah, I thought I'd recognise you from somewhere else. And Cam Zerha, as it was called brilliantly by Dwayne Russell, the King of Marvel.
Did Dwayne come up with that, did he?
He sure did, and still to this day, he's referred to often, Cam Zerha, as the King of Marvel. And I think why that game for me was so special, it was the first time that my brother and my dad and I, who I go to the footy with every single week, had been at a win together since pre-COVID.
Oh, nice.
So North had won a
beautiful.
few games in the time, but I lived interstate, came back, and the three of us were at the game together. And I remember just riding a high for like a week after. It was a Saturday twilight, and I went onto the tram to go down to Chinatown to meet some girlfriends for dinner. And I got on this tram, and there was just a bunch of North fans, and everyone started singing the theme song.
Good old North Melbourne, the champions will agree. North Melbourne is the 20 years,
As we're going down Burke Street, and then I walk into the restaurant, and my friends saw me, and I'm in my North scarf, and I'm so hyped, and they just start cheering for me as I come in, and the whole restaurant erupts.
Yeah.
And they all start cheering because everyone knows how much one win means to North fans. And this was an incredible experience.
And that could only happen to a club like North, because you've been rubbish, no one really hates you. If Collingwood got their first ever win, and if Pies fan walked in, everyone was just like, oh god.
That's nice for you, but no, it's just the whole package.
Yeah.
So
and singing the song on the tram. I mean, you're lucky to get off at Chinatown. You have the longest song.
I know, it was
awesome.
The whole thing, the first verse and the chorus, and it was pretty special.
Yeah. What is the number one win that North Melbourne have had in this century in home and away games? Marnie, come on.
Round 14, 2018 against the Bulldogs.
Hang on. 2018, when we were rubbish.
Yeah.
And you were probably rubbish as well. Were you rubbish that year?
We were okay that year.
So hang on. So this is number one.
Yeah.
You beating up on a broken team. Actually, I was at this game. Yes. You came back at the... Oh, this is rubbish.
Basically, Mitch Wallace has the ball with 30 seconds to go, and he's kicking it into the Bulldogs attacking 50.
And it goes out of bounds on the full. Yes.
We just put together the scrappiest passage of play and somehow moved this ball from one end of the ground to the other. And Sean Higgins hand passes the ball into our forward 50 somewhere to the feet of Ben Brown, and rather than him picking it up and taking possession because he would have got tackled, he just soccers it off the ground, and then there is Jack Zeeble standing in the goal square ready to take the ball, and he kicks the goal.
How is this your best game?
Let me explain. So that year North were meant to be really, really bad, and the theme was proving everyone wrong about this narrative that North were no good and all that sort of thing. And up until that season, we'd really struggled to close out close games. We'd always be on the losing end of a close game. We were unable to hold our nerve, and we had so many games where we'd lose by 2-3 points here, there. And I think this was one of the first games. It wasn't the first, because we had beaten Sydney at the SCG earlier that year, and Mason Wood had kicked the winning goal. But to be there in person at Marvel, at home, and this was sort of the first time for a while we'd been able to do it, the whole stadium just erupted, and it didn't matter.
Not the whole stadium.
Well, all North fans erupted.
I think half of us were pretty angry.
Yeah, but that's not what this video is about. It was just special. It was very, very special to do it. It's the first time I think I had seen us do it for quite some time. We actually won a few games like that for the rest of 2018.
So happy for you.
It just sticks in my mind as one that I will always remember as one of my favourite games.
Well, apparently it's the favourite.
It's my favourite win, home and away win.
That's not an outrage. It's fine. You can enjoy a close win. How's it number one? This is ridiculous.
It was just the memories associated with it. And the way we did it, and the context leading into the game as well, I think was really important. That we just hadn't really seen a win like that. The season was going a lot better than expected. It was awesome. It was great. Numero uno. No regrets whatsoever. It's got nothing to do with you being a Bulldogs fan and me being here talking about our best wins.
That's why everyone hates North. There it is. That is Marnie's list. It's wrong, but that's Marnie's list. What do you reckon, North fans? Surely there's a better win in home and away games this century than beating the down and out Bulldogs in 2018. Let me know in the comments and subscribe to Kangas TV. And do you have a podcast or anything, or you just appear on other people's?
I just appear on other people's.
Okay, well, just look around for it.
You'll find me somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow her on all the socials, and good luck, North.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think good things are coming.
From your mouth to God's ears.